Hi everyone, it's Melody with DesignByMelody.com here today to share a two-page spread with you. These two papers that I'm showing you are going to be the base papers for each of these layouts. We're just going to go through layout number 1 in this video, but stay tuned for layout number 2 to come shortly. Both of these papers are from the same collection pad, and I'm also using additional papers from the pad on the layouts to be coordinating papers in both layouts. There's this yellow, the blue, and the gray tones are the ones that I'm using, and this is the American Crafts paper, and it's called the My Girl Collection. I'm going to speed up the video a little bit so you can see the process a little bit faster as it comes together. I'm going to use both of these scraps in both of the layouts so that they coordinate. Like I said, it's not really a two-page scrapbook layout. It's more of a two-page spread of coordinating single scrapbook pages. It's kind of confusing, but I wanted to make it clear that it was not of the same design for each of the layouts. They just coordinate, so they're going to be side by side in my album. I'm using this gray paper to kind of offset the yellow to the blue. Since the yellow has a bit of a pattern to it and the blue obviously has a busy pattern, I didn't want them to be quite so side by side. I wanted to have a little bit of separation. And I'm also going to use this doily to do the same thing. This is a small doily that's actually from a local bakery supply store. And I like to use them on my layouts. I believe they were like 7 cents each, so I bought a whole bunch of them. The store has since closed, or I would have bought a lot more. But you can find these in a lot of scrapbook supply stores. A lot of the online stores sell them, and you can also buy them from bakery supply stores online as well. If you're interested in a couple of places to buy them from, let me know and I'll share. I believe WeSellCoffee.com has some, and I believe that's a bakery supply store, and I believe there's a couple other places online as well. So just keep an eye out, Google bakery supply stores and see what you can find, or leave a comment and I'll be sure to link some of those supply stores. I've cut my doily, the part that's going to be overlapped by the photo, so that I can move that piece down in the corner of the layout, just adhering that down and cutting off the excess. I also have a pile of stickers they're all basically on 6x12 sticker sheets here that you can see to the top right of the screen, and I'm just going through these to see what I can find that coordinates. And I used part of that yellow border strip down there at the bottom overlapping the doily so that it pulls a little bit of the yellow from the main part of the layout to that smaller cluster down to the right side. And of just about everything that I'm using, I'm making sure that there is an additional part or a similar thing that I can put on the other page that's going to go in this two-page spread. I wanted to make sure that they were coordinating in the sense of using the same supplies, but they are going to be different designs. This one has a single 4x6 photo, and the other one is actually a 4x6 sized printed photo, but it has 6 photos actually on that same 4x6. I'm using this Project Life set by Becky Higgins. It's the wedding collection, to look for a card to use for my title card. I'm actually going to layer it under the major part of this layout, and I'm just flipping through seeing what additional things. I am going to settle on this 4x6 card that you see there with the chevron print, but I am just going through the additional ones in the set to see if there's something that looks a little bit better. As I'm scrapbooking, I'm thinking about my title. I believe the title is one of the hardest things that I do in scrapbooking. I have a hard time settling on one thing. I don't want it to be obviously like sitting on steps or whatever. I want it to be some sort of title that tells a little bit of what's going on, as well as is not quite so generic, I guess. I'm not really sure how to explain that, but I don't want it to just be like Kaylin. I want it to be like a little bit different. So this one is titled Special Everyday Moments, because what he's doing, and I will put this in the journaling, but what he's doing is he's just sitting on the steps watching TV. Ernest was snapping a couple pictures of him, and we were getting ready to go out. We have a normal Saturday afternoon thing that we do, whether we work on Saturdays or not. We typically go out Saturday afternoon and just go do something together. And that's what we were doing here. We were just getting ready to go out. And he just happened to be ready before the rest of us, so he's sitting on the steps watching cartoons while we are getting ready. And I've already scrapbooked about this in my album, in my 2013 album. That's what this page is going to go in. So that story has already been told about the Saturday afternoons outing. So this just goes along with that same theme. If I had not previously scrapbooked that, I would have put that story here as well. I'm fussing with these alphas just a little bit. These are the Color Theory alphas from Studio Calico, and they're in clean slate. I have a very difficult time with them because they are so small and delicate, and for whatever reason I was having issues lining them up, so it just made it even more difficult. Especially since I scrapbook upside down so that you can see it on the video, it does make it slightly more challenging. This label sticker is also from that alpha sticker sheet. There's a couple of different things at the bottom. There's little stars and geotags, but they are tiny, and it is sometimes difficult to get them off, but they add a little bit of a punch to the page since I have darker colors. You can see the black that's here on the screen, and then I use the gray ones. They're dark enough that they add a little bit of a punch to the layout, so I think they are very important to have, and I actually really like them. I'll probably go ahead and buy them in the other colors as well. If you are a member of the Studio Calico Kit Clubs, a couple months ago we actually got a little swatch book basically of all their colors that they're offering in these alphas and the embellishment sets and everything else. So that was kind of cool to get, and I'm definitely going to be ordering the coordinating colors and the different supplies. It's called their Color Theory Essentials, I believe. And that, if you see the Color Theory black ones right there on the screen, under that is actually another alpha set, and those are tile alphas. There's gray on top and black on the bottom. I had pulled them out as possibilities, but they were just too bold to go on this layout with the tiles. But the yellow tiles that I used from the October afternoon alpha set worked perfectly because they weren't quite so bold. Just going down the rest of my page here, and I'm going to add a border around the edge, which if I had thought about this before I would have done it first, but I didn't think that far ahead when I was thinking about this layout. I'm just going to add my journaling. Again, if I had thought about it ahead, I probably would have printed my journaling. I like printed journaling a little bit better just because I'm not as happy with my handwriting. And I was excuse me, I was playing around with the idea of actually taking that card and running it through my printer right there. And then I thought about printing it on another card and putting it on there, which is what I'm fussing through here. I'm looking at some tags to see if one would look good layered there. But in just a moment, I'll actually just write on that chevron 4x6 Project Life card. And I will use one of the geotags from the Clean Slate Studio Calico Alpha set to kind of say right here, just to draw a little bit of attention to the journaling. I'm writing out to see how it looks. I'm actually putting it on a tag, but I don't like the way it looks, so I'm just going to write it directly on there instead. And it just says, like watching, excuse me, it says, basically it goes from the title, Special Everyday Moments, and then you read the journaling. Like watching TV from the steps while Mommy and Daddy finish getting ready for our normal afternoon outing. Normal Saturday afternoon outing. Then I took that large chunk of supplies that go in the middle of my page, and I'm just drawing a border here on the edge. And I'm using my Tim Holtz ruler. This is a vital tool in my supply kit here. I use it all the time, whether it's using it to rip papers or using it to cut straight with an X-Acto knife or using it to draw these border strips. I use it a lot. And one side, if you don't have it, one side is actually a metal strip, and then the other side is just the plastic side. I apologize, I'm having some serious allergy issues, so I apologize for the throat clearing. Just pulled a couple of embellishments out of my stash, and these were just fussy cut from various papers. If you'd like to see where they came from, just check out my blog and you'll be able to see a complete supply list. And then just putting a couple finishing touches on here. I've got this glitter tape, but this was actually from the dollar bin at Target. And I don't know who the actual maker is. I believe it was just a Target brand, but it's kind of a cool tape. It's just a thin glitter tape, and it was only $1. You can't beat it, and it is adhesive. So I cut a piece, cut a banner fishtail end, and then I'm gluing it on. This one is just cut at a diagonal. It doesn't have the fishtail end. And again, if I had done this before, it would have been a lot easier than trying to glue it straight now. But I'm just adding it in a few places just to add just a tad bit more. And I'm going to put it down here in this bottom cluster. I really like how the bottom cluster turned out. It looks a little overexposed in the video since I was recording at night, but take a look at the still photos at the end as well as the still photos on my blog, and you can really see that bottom cluster. It's got a lot of grays and yellows, and then it's going to have a pop of pink here in just a moment. I believe gray and white may be my favorite colors to scrapbook, and then I throw other colors in with it. But I honestly believe gray and white might be my favorite colors. And if I was looking through some recent layouts that I did, and I believe gray is one of the common colors in my layouts. So kind of keep an eye on that. It's interesting to see whenever you go back and look at what your traditional things are. You know, what are my go-to things? I believe gray, these punched hearts that I'm going to add here in a little bit, and I would say little stickers are probably as well one of my go-to supplies. It's just funny to see how your style changes over time, and I don't scrapbook chronologically, so it's I've got kind of a mixture of layouts in my albums, but I do like that. Just adding a heart to a couple different places just for a pop of color, since the primary colors are yellow, gray, and blue. But this pretty much completes the layout. Check out my blog to see more still shots, and check out in a couple days you'll see the next page. Thanks guys, bye.